Hi folks, today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of the Weeping Peninsula with the Mourne Courtyard dungeon. Let's get into it. Today we're going to be going through the Mourne Courtyard, so this is going to be our setup. We have this big board, and what's interesting about the fight is that we're going to have enemies on one side and on the other side, and we have to kind of split our characters between both sides in order to fight the enemies. This is the marching order I have drawn with all of the enemies, and we're gonna add new enemies as the rounds pass by. This scenario will have a boss fight, so this is round 1. Hopefully we kill as many enemies as possible. Then we have round 2 and round 3, where we add the 2 scaly misbegottens as bosses. We have one roll with the stagger effect, and whenever we stagger the boss, we do 4 damage. I was also able to place the 2 characters here. I have placed the talisman over here because I don't have enough space to place the armor and also the weapons. We're gonna start the playthrough. We're gonna start first with Misbegotten C. I just need to add the token, so there you go. So let's start with Misbegotten C. So this Misbegotten is gonna move 1, can't move this way, so it's gonna stay here. It will attack, can't hit anyone, and then it's gonna move this way. Next, we're gonna have the Astrologer playing. So let's draw 4 cards. There you go. And we're gonna start by hitting this enemy on our first action with the Ambush Shard. Since I am in critical hit, B, it means if I am in this lane, I can critical hit any enemies around here. So in order to do that, I will draw 2 cards. And we're gonna pick, well, it doesn't really matter in this case, so anyways, we're just gonna do 1 damage. There you go. This one has 3 health points, so let's see how we deal with the situation. Before the next attack, I'm gonna use the Green Turtle Talisman, which makes a free action if I do a draw and I only draw 1 card, which is gonna be the case. So we're still with 1 action. Next, I'm gonna be using the Swift Glintstone Shard as my second action. We're gonna draw 2 cards. I'm gonna be using this symbol so I can recover my FP. We're good, and we do another damage. And then last but not least, we're gonna use another Ambush Shard. Draw 2 cards, and we're gonna pick any of the 2, so that's good. We do an extra damage, so this guy right here is defeated. I'm also gonna lower the FP, there you go. Next, it's gonna be the Rotten Stray H, which would attack, but there is no one, so it's gonna move, and then it would perform an attack. There are no targets, so it's all good. Next, it's gonna be again the Astrologer. So for the Astrologer, we're gonna use our first action to move over here. Our next action is actually gonna be a free action, which is gonna be using this card. And what I will do is, as a free action, I can draw a combat card or restore 1 FP. I will use this card to restore 1 FP. There you go. As my second action, I'm gonna draw cards up to my hand size. I'm gonna use a Swift Glintstone Shard +1. We lower 1 FP. There you go. Draw 2 cards. Nice, we have 2 symbols, so we get to do 2 damage on this guy. So that's Rotten Stray Eye, which has 3 health points. And because I also have cards with the link chain, I can continue. What I'm gonna do is I will use the Glintstone Arc for 2 FP. Draw 2 more. And we're gonna use this one, so we do 2 damage. And this enemy is also defeated. Since we're gonna have more enemies popping up every round, it's better to kill them rather than keeping them on the board. So now this one and also this one are out. That's the end of my turn. Next, we're gonna have the Misbegotten D attacking. So this character is gonna go here and then here. It will attack the Astrologer. dealing 3 damage. So the astrologer is gonna block with those 2 cards, so it will take only 1 damage. There you go. The enemy is gonna move over here and then over here. And now we're gonna have the bandit. So the bandit is gonna start by attacking this guy over here. So let's draw our cards. I should have drawn them before. Anyways, so we're gonna start with the retreating strike +1. Since we are on critical hit, we're gonna draw 2 cards. There you go. So we do 2 damage on B. B has 4 health points. Next, it's gonna be Lash +1. We're gonna draw 2 cards. Nice. We would do the equivalent of 3 damage. So this enemy is defeated. As our third action, we're gonna be moving here. And then as a free action, we will be using a deft attack, which if played as a free action, I get to draw another combat card. So we're gonna draw 1. We do 2 damage to this character. Misbegotten C has 5 health points. Next, it's gonna be the second turn for the bandit, as we have here on the marching order. We're gonna start by using the whip crack. We will reduce our FP by 1. And what this does is that we get to resolve an attack card twice. So we're gonna play the backstab. We're gonna resolve the first attack, in which we do 2 damage. There you go, so 1 health left. And then the second one, it will be 1 damage, so we get to defeat this character. This card goes here. That was our second action. Now we're gonna shuffle our attributes deck, since it's empty. There you go. For our third action, I'm gonna draw cards. And then for the free action, I'm gonna be using another backstab. If I get to have this attribute symbol, I'll be able to increase the damage to 3. So let's do this. So we draw 2. Really nice. So we get to do 3 + 1, so 4 damage, which means this enemy is also defeated. So that was a good run. And we still have 3 cards. So Misbegotten A and Misbegotten C are removed from the board. So that was a good run through. We just have 2 enemies left. We're gonna have to add all of those enemies on the board, so let's do that. All right, so now we're gonna go for round 2. And I forgot one thing actually, which was to add the Mad Pumpkin head. And what it does is, like, if placed near tarnished, it will do 3 damage in the marching order, but also if placed near enemies in the marching order, it will do 3 damage to them. It ended up happening that it's the first card, which means it will do 3 damage to the Rotten Stray I, which has 3 health points, so it means I gets instantly defeated, so there you go. Next, we're gonna have the bandit, followed by all the enemies, and then we're gonna have the remaining of the characters playing. So let's see how well can we do with the bandit. We're gonna move 1 to the right as a first action. Then we're gonna be using the exposing lash. We draw 2 cards. And I will choose actually this one. So we do 2 damage to every single one of the Misbegottens here. 2, you as well, and you as well. That was a very good attack. As our third action, I will use again the exposing lash. We draw 2. Then we get to apply this effect twice per enemy. There you go. And to avoid the risk of getting killed, what I will do is gonna be to draw 3 cards as my free action, and my previous attack also allowed me to move. So I will move 1 to the left. These tokens, they will do blood loss, so on their turn they will each lose 2 health, so we might have a few of them also killed. So next it's gonna be the Rotten Stray H, which will attack the bandit for 2 damage. We're gonna block the 2 with 2 cards. Then it will do again an attack for 2 damage. We will do the same thing. Now it's gonna be J, so we're gonna move it this way and then do 3 damage to the astrologer. We have no way of blocking it. And finally, we're gonna have Misbegotten D, which will move to the left over here. It will attack and then move this way over here. Because it has blood loss tokens, it's gonna lose 2 health. It has 3 health points. It already has 2 damage, therefore this enemy is defeated. Next, it's gonna be Misbegotten E, which will move right. It will attack our astrologer for 3 damage, and our astrologer is defeated. So we're gonna be using one of the Stake of Marika cards to go back into game. It will then move this way, so it's gonna end up here. But it will also die because it has 2 blood loss, 4 health. It already had 2 damage, so it's also get defeated. We have to remove our astrologer cards from here. And finally, it will be Misbegotten F, which will move left. It would do an attack, it doesn't hit anyone, and then it would move this way. It will take 2 blood loss, but it has 5 health points, so we're gonna replace those 2 for 2 damage. So it's 1 damage away from getting killed. Now it's gonna be the bandit's turn. We're gonna have to start by drawing cards. So that's gonna be first action. For my second action, I will be using the Exposing Lash +1, so I can attack this enemy. We're gonna draw 1 card. Alright, so we do 2 blood loss. Plus, we can also move, and what I will do is move this way. For my third action, what I will do is to use the Lash +1. I can hit these 3 areas, so I'm gonna hit again this character over here. And I will do 2 damage to this guy. So we know it's a walking corpse because it will die on the next turn. And as my free action, I will draw 2 more cards. There you go. So that's gonna be the end of this round. We're gonna go now into round 3 where the bosses will be added. Following the round 3 setup, I have added our 2 bosses here on both sides. I have also drawn all the cards, including their behavior cards. Each boss has 1 deck, and then you draw 2 cards from each one of those decks to form their attack. So here we have all the characters. We're gonna start with a whooping 4 enemy attacks, then 2 characters, another enemy, a character, the bosses, then the character, and another enemy. So let's start. I have already done the setup for the astrologer after the use of the Stake of Marika and placed it here. So let's start. We're gonna go first with the Scaly Misbegotten C, so that one. So the Scaly Misbegotten is gonna move here. Then it will attack all of this section. So both characters are gonna be hit for 3 damage. So we're gonna start with the bandit. For the bandit, I will discard these 3 cards. So I take 0 damage. And for the astrologer, let's see, we will be discarding, I think, those 3 cards. There you go. Next it will be the Scaly Misbegotten again. It will do a jump attack. So 1, 2. It will then hit on a line and it doesn't do any damage, then moves 1 this way. Next we're gonna have the Mad Pumpkin. So we do 3 damage to the enemies adjacent to it, so 3 to the Rotten Stray. So that's Rotten Stray J. So this guy, and this guy has 3 health points, so it gets killed. That's amazing. I love when the game helps you. And then 3 for the Scaly Misbegotten. So we're gonna take the health dial and bring it to 12. There you go. Next, it would be the Rotten Stray, but it will get removed since it got defeated. Next, we're gonna have the Bandit, followed by the Astrologer. For the Bandit, we're gonna start by drawing cards. I'm gonna draw 3 cards. So we will attack with a Thrust first. We are on the critical hit line, so we're gonna draw 2 cards. And we will do 2 damage. There you go, so 10 health. So this brought us to one last action. And what we are gonna do is that we're gonna use a retreating strike. I'm gonna reshuffle the attributes. Okay, so we do 2 more damage. That brings us to 8. Next, as a free action, so I think for this turn, I don't want to get killed, so I'm just gonna draw cards. There you go. Next, it's gonna be the Astrologer. So for the Astrologer, so I will use the Ambush Shard on this guy. So we're gonna draw 2 cards. And we do 2 damage. There you go. As a second action, we will draw cards. I'll also lower my FP. There you go. Next, I will use the Glintstone Arc because I can do damage on both enemies. So we're gonna use this one. Draw 2 cards. And we do 2 damage. That's awesome. So this guy over here gets killed and this guy loses 2 health. So brings it to a total of 11. There you go. Then we're also gonna be removing the Rotten Stray from here. That ends the turn of the Astrologer. Next, we're gonna go for the Misbegotten. So the Misbegotten will move left. It will attack for 3 damage, which we will block with 1 card. So we're gonna be receiving 2 damage. Then it will move this way and then this way. All right, next it's gonna be again the Astrologer. Before I use the abilities, let's just remove 2 FP from the previous attack. We're gonna use the Swift Glintstone Shard. Again, 2 cards. Nice. We can restore 1 FP because of this attack. So basically this attack is free and we do 1 damage. So that brings us to 10. And to finish, I'm gonna draw more cards. Here you go. So the enemy is going to start by moving here and here. It will attack, doesn't hit anyone, then move here. And then on the next attack, it will move this way and this way. It will do 6 damage and receive 2 stagger tokens. So for the damage, we're going to block with 4 cards and then we will decrease 2 health. So it's going to go to 3 for our Astrologer. So it's good that we decided to pick up more cards. And next it's gonna be the Bandit. The enemy is right in front of us. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using Lash 1. Draw 2 cards. We do 2 damage. So that brings us to a total of 6 health. Second attack will be with a Bloody Coil. We will draw again 2 cards. And I think we will do, yeah, we're gonna use this one. So we will do 1 damage and add 2 tokens. So that brings to a total of 5 remaining health. Then for our third action, we're gonna draw more cards. So we're back at 4. And as our free action, I will use a Backstab. Because if used as a free action and we get, yes, we got it, we do 3 more damage to this guy. Okay, so it's now at 2 health points. That's great. Hopefully we're not gonna take any damage. So now let's reshuffle again the initiative cards and restart for the next round. All right, so that's the new marching order. We're gonna start with the astrologer. So we're gonna start by drawing cards. We'll be using a swift glintstone arc on this misbegotten here. Draw 2 attribute cards, so we do 1 damage and we restore 2 FP, but since this one cost 1, we're just gonna restore 1. There you go. Then we bring it to 9 health points. That's awesome. We're gonna use the talisman so I can draw another card, because I can do it once per turn. And because we are on a chain link, I'm gonna use another card. So we're gonna use this one, draw 2 attribute cards. And now we do 1 more damage, and we don't spend any FP, so we're gonna go for 8. And finally, for our last action, I will just draw cards. So I'm gonna reshuffle the cards here. There you go. Next it will be the misbegotten, which will move here and here. It will attack and then move this way. Next it will be misbegotten D, so this one. It's gonna move 1, 2, 3. It will attack these 3 spaces, so no damage done. Then it will move here and here. There you go. Now we have the Mad Pumpkin Head, so we should do 3 damage to misbegotten C and D, because they are next to this card. So 8, 7, 6, 5. And then, whoa, this guy is done for. We killed it. So we can already remove this card and this one. And now it's gonna be the astrologer's turn once more. So let's see if we can kill this boss this turn. All right, so we're gonna be starting by playing an ambush shard. Let's shuffle the attributes deck. So we're gonna draw 2. And then we do 1 damage to this guy. And because it's in the back row, we trigger the ability. We increase the damage to 2 and add stagger effects to the effects once per attack. So that means we will add 1 stagger and then we do 2 damage. There's 3 health left. Next, we're gonna be using this one as a free action to draw a combat card. And by the way, I should be decreasing my FP. There you go. We're gonna draw 1 combat card. Since I can use the talisman this turn, I'm gonna use it to draw 1 card, since I was 1 card out. We are gonna be using the Swift Glintstone. Draw 2 cards. We draw 2 damage. We are gonna be using another ambush shard, so that's gonna be the 3rd ability. We draw 2 more cards, and with this, that's awesome. So we get to do 2 damage, 3. So we defeat the Scaly Misbegotten. That's awesome. There you go. And now for the coup de grace, we're gonna be doing the last attack with the bandit. Hopefully we will kill the Misbegotten. We're gonna do a trust. There you go. We draw 2 cards. We do 2 damage, and then this guy is done for. So that's it. We completed our dungeon. Because we completed the scenario, each tarnished gains 5 runes, and we retrieve card 13 from the vault. And card 13 is the boss fight, the final boss fight of the Weeping Peninsula. We're gonna be doing that on our next playthrough. Another scenario that's finished. Next, we're gonna be going to the final one for the Weeping Peninsula. If you wanna watch other playthrough episodes, just click on the links right here and stay tuned to the next episodes. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.